ins and outs and so on all of those good things. And I also manage the conversational intelligence program at Sage, which is what we're going to talk about today.
But we're constantly struggling with how do we find the right customer to speak to our prospects or in any of the other marketing types of situations. So as we know, the sales day will close, time passes, and then you ask your CAM or whomever you connect with to, nominate or get references, and they're asking, who do you have? And we're constantly having to go to our people and see who we can find for references and advocates. And that's a really big challenge, right? Adoption is hard. People have their back pocket references. You're constantly challenged with it. So with that being said, we don't really have visibility. And because of that, we're constantly scrambling. But what we didn't realize until I met the lovely Rita and her ability to work collaboratively with us was to find out that there's a lot of things that are going on that we can capture. And so with that being said, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so what we didn't realize is that we had a tool, specifically ours is Chorus, that is capturing thousands of calls, whether it be QBR calls, CAM calls, customer account manager calls for renewals, new business opportunities, anything that's being recorded on Chorus. We were like, oh my gosh, there's signals in there that we could be utilizing and capturing this information to then repurpose, put in the reference program, use for all the other activities that we need to do. And so with that being said, we started to hear things in these calls. For example, key signals like our team loves using this. We've seen a 40% improvement in close rates. OMG, we could be using this, right? Like nobody's telling us. This was in a call, like this is gold, right? And then there's the success story metrics. Again, conversations that are happening, what their challenges were, what the outcomes were. These are things that not everyone is telling us that we really do need to have information on, right? And then there's champion indicators. What is going on in the demo? Are they mentioning references? These are key things that are important to us and our team.
So what's the AI opportunity and what can we do? The first thing is with Chorus, and this works for any tool that you might have. You may have Gong, you may have, what's the other one, SalesLoft, or any of the others. This works just the same. This allows us to analyze thousands of calls in minutes, not months, not weeks, not taking anybody out of their normal job. This allows us to do that at scale. We can identify those sentiment patterns that Kara was talking about over a longer term, right? So we're looking at the first interaction all the way through until the renewal and add-on discussion where we're looking for those sentiments. It also surfaces those success measures for us. So when someone mentions ROI or something like that in passing, AI is catching up with that, right? So it's looking for numbers. We're looking for very specific things, not just a customer who is doing just fine. Are they bringing their boss to the call? Are they talking about and everything? Are they already evangelizing our tool our service outside of these conversations? Those are indicators that we want to flag as well. All right, over to you.
So here's the good stuff, guys. So as I manage the reference program, we started to listen in on these conversations and start to capture what was going on behind the scenes. I feel like I'm constantly a private investigator. We were talking about this yesterday. You have to be sourcing everything. And so with that being said, we noticed once we started listening in on calls, we caught a couple of things. One is AEs would say, hey, do you need a reference? I've got a guy. I'll call him. And I'm like, wait a minute, that didn't go through our team. And then I find out who that person is, put him in the reference program. Good, got him, right? Then I'll go back to that AE and say, hey, congratulations on your deal. I heard you used ABC company. Can I send them a thank you card or a gift card? Like, oh yeah, that'd be really great. I hadn't gotten to that yet. Or even better, conversations had happened the day before and I would hear an AE say, we'll get you that reference. Let me get a hold of the team. And I'm already contacting that AE saying, hey, how you doing? Do you need any reference help? Again, building that bridge. And they're like, oh my God, yeah, I was gonna call you and ask you. So with that, we noticed adoption went up. We found these backdoor references and we could see improvement happening. So we were able to, again, increase the number of references. We were able to increase the number of references and advocates that were influencing all opportunities. And then we, of course, started to increase our reference repository because we found a lot of these backdoor references, and we started to feel a bigger, it's like a concierge approach, so to speak, with the sales team, which is like building that bridge, helping them, right? And then we started to see sales satisfaction, right? We started sending out surveys every 6 months. How do you like the program? Are you learning everything? Do you need training? So we were able to do that as well. And then for the customer, okay, let's talk about that. You want to match the right reference with the right prospect. So a lot of times people forget, and keep this in mind if you're managing any type of program, get 3 different personas, or maybe even 4 in your case. We look at the decision to purchase, the implementation reference, the end user reference, and the support reference, because prospects will want those in all different forms and fashions. I don't want to set up the wrong persona with someone that's not technical. It's like the prospect is not really being heard. So again, it's a customer experience as well.
So how do we do it? What is the AI actually listening for? First, we've categorized it into 3 different signal types. The first one you've heard us talk a lot about, which is sentiment. Here's an example from a real call. I will paraphrase and keep that confidential, but the customer said, this is honestly a game changer. We've cut our reporting time in half, and we have everyone using it, right? So we've tuned the tool to listen for words like game changer, right? We're looking for things like that positive sentiment about the tool, how they're using it. That is, well, you'll hear us say it, reference goal, right? That one. The second signal we're looking for are success signals, right? So we're looking for, since we implemented this, we have 35% increase in pipeline velocity, reps are closing 20% more. We're looking for hard data there. That is a success signal. And what our customer gives us in that example is a before and after, kind of like what Kara did there. And then the third thing we're looking for is that advocacy signal, that they're already talking to others, that they've invited the VP of, the CFO of, all of these important titles are joining these calls as well over time. And we're looking at this over time and not just a one-time event there as well. Go here. Next one. Yeah. This next one's me too, isn't it? All right.
It's the Rita show too.
It's the Rita show now. So I'll walk you through a little bit of the framework, right? First thing you want to do is make sure you're setting up the keywords inside of your tool. If you're using Gong, if you're using Chorus, any of those, make sure your keywords are set. The most important piece of this is you're going to have to establish what good looks like to you. What is the perfect reference? What does that look and sound like to you? So I hate to tell you, AI isn't going to do that part for you. We are going to need a human in the loop for that, at least that first part. AI is going to allow you to scale that once we've identified it. We're also going to monitor the sentiment over time. Again, we're capturing that first SDR BANT call all the way through to the customer check-in, add-on renewals call as well. And we want to make sure that that is consistent across those interactions. Identify those engagement activities. CEOs, those titles, how often are they showing up in these calls for you? And then to Kara's point, we're surfacing that unprompted praise, not the, hey, how's it going? And you're like, oh, it's good, it's good. I'm talking about in the flow of the conversation, they stop and they tell you, man, we turned on that feature that you suggested to us and it's really been, it's really changed things for us. That is unsolicited praise that we want to make sure that we're capturing. This says 3, but the next step is, can I go back? No, probably not. So the next step would be our scoring model. So this is an example of the scoring model, not the exact scoring model, but an example of that. So 30% of it is coming from the sentiment signals. We want to make sure that those patterns, the enthusiasm is there, positive sentiment. The other percentages are coming from the advocacy behavior, the success criteria, and the account health. This one's important because if someone's got an open ticket, an open complaint, an issue, a bug, you don't want to ask those folks right away about referring your...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not the best.
You wouldn't want your sales rep to be doing that.
No, you don't want that. So we want to make sure we're hitting all of these buckets along the way to make sure that this is the right reference to reach out to and the right time to reach out to that reference. I'm so used to saying, any questions? Not yet, though. Any questions on this slide? All right. Cool. So the benefits, this is not just for your reference team, right? This is, sales. Sales, they get faster and more relevant references for their
Qualified references.
Exactly.
For the team, yep.
Yep. They have confidence that these references are the right references and that we put this additional layer of data and analytics in it to make sure that we're surfacing those for them at the right time. The reference team, obviously, Kara's got a ton more qualified references that she can add into her program. And then for the customer, as she mentioned, they feel like it's a part of a relationship building exercise and less transactional once we switch to approaching it in this way. All right. This one is you? No, this is also me.
It's you. Told you, it's the Rita show.
It's the Rita show. So the keys to success here is to start with that clear criteria. And again, that will be different for many of us. If you're in healthcare, you might be looking at some compliance issues. If you're in retail, you may be looking at store counts and et cetera, those types of things. We also want to make sure it's integrated with your existing stack. So it should look like this, your CI platform. Ours is Chorus. It collects into Salesforce, has a bi-directional sync between the two, and then into the reference management system. So data should be flowing and not having to be cut and pasted other places, right? So this is a whole nother, I could get into another 30-minute talk about connectivity of all of the software that you have right now that's probably becoming shelfware. But see me later for the second part of that. You want to train your teams. Make sure everybody's in the boat with you, right? You want to make sure your reference team folks that are the analysts, you want to make sure the sales folks are in the boat with you and they are doing this regularly. They know how to interpret those scores and they know what to do with them after they have surfaced these references. And then you're going to measure and iterate. So this may not be the structure or the criteria that is appropriate for your team. You're gonna have to go back and iterate on what that means, what your good looks like. But at the heart of it, you've got to solve that piece for yourself. And then make it a habit. This is not gonna happen overnight. This is not a one and done. We've set this up where we go back, Kara and I meet regularly. We create new scorecards. We create new keywords that are even more relevant to what she's looking for in these references. And I feel like this next one is mine too, isn't it? Sheesh.
Let's start with the first, Rita. There's my part.
There you go. Thank you. You just pay attention to Kara doing that. So what does that mean? If you're already using a sales tool, any of the ones that I've mentioned, you are sitting on reference goal right now. So you just need to point that data to your reference discovery. This is a low lift and a high impact activity. So if you have a person like me in your company, go and find them, get to know them. They are very, very excited to hear from you and want to talk to you all day about conversational intelligence and how it can help you, right? So this is one facet of what I do. This product marketing team, we've tuned it for them. Competitive intelligence, all of the go-to-market motions have a little bit of piece of the Chorus data in it. Because what's more important than hearing your customer's voice at scale, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Is this me again?
It is. We love you, Rita. We love you. Go ahead.
If you aren't sold, or if you are sold, here's what you can do starting tomorrow. Go home, go get on your laptop, whatever, have some, create some meetings, but audit what you already have. If you've got conversational intelligence program, audit what's already in there. Look at the keywords that they're mapping to. Look at those triggers that are in there. The scorecards are important as well. Get deep into that. So find your technology enablement partner. Again, can't reiterate this enough. Define your own signals, right? What does it sound like? Write it down yourselves. Collaborate as humans first and agree on those. All right, I like that. Let's take a little hand clap. Yeah. Big shout out to the humans in the room. Love that. So yeah, you want to start with the humans in the room and understand what good looks like and agree on that. And then let the AI help you kind of scale and figure that out. Start small. You don't have to do it all. We say don't boil the ocean. Don't try to boil the ocean. Get about 20 of those and then collaborate, right? And do a call calibration.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can pilot. Do like a pilot. Yeah.
Pilots are my fave. Yes, definitely get a pilot. Test it, run it for 30 days, see what catches, and then go back and redo that and then build your process around that. I am just about...
This is my favorite slide. Go to the next one. Ready?
It's Kara's slide. Kara's back on.
I'm back on. If you'd like to contact us, here we are. I could be in the video. Hi. Okay.
Only had 30 minutes, but we wanted to save some time for a few questions as well.
Please ask questions.
Yes.
Because we have 12 minutes.
Yes. There they are.
Now's our time. Okay. Do you want my mic?
No. Hello.
That's okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
I do have a question, though, if I can kick off with the question that I didn't put in the slideshow. But the two of you have like a fantastic relationship. And I wonder if you could walk us through how that, partnership formed at work and like started this beautiful relationship of reference value.
Sure. Go ahead. Kara's got the origin story.
Well, it first started with coffee.
It did.
Listen, as I mentioned before, when I was at table 3 or whatever, I forgot what number it was, where we were talking about ways that...
Table 3.
Table 3, shout out, woohoo! Okay. What are ways to get adoption? How do you get people to buy in? And so for me, being collaborative is like uber important. So like find your Rita, get on QBRs, get on the sales calls, get in with the customer account team, get into communities. Like I feel like we're constantly having to do all these things. And so because of that, and my collaborations with other teams, someone had said, hey, I think that this collaboration with Rita would be really good because you could pick up signals, you could pick up words. And I was like, who is Rita and what's going on? And finding out about this and then listening in on calls was like eye-opening. It was really eye-opening because I would hear AEs say, yeah, we'll get you a reference, and the prospect say, I would really love a reference from your competitor. And then the AE, and I think we've all been like this, and I say to the AE, well, what do you need? I just need a general reference. I just need someone that can talk about, nothing, just like 5-minute call, check in. But I'm like, did you not listen to what they just said? And so now I'm going to get a reference that I think matches when I actually know it's not. So our relationship to, as we mentioned, we meet weekly or if not monthly or whatever, but I mean, we're definitely working more collaboratively together. So I think this is how it started with Rita, but I just say, you have to dip into all the different departments, everything, and just ask, like, what are you using? How can references or just customer content or marketing play in? Because everybody's trying to touch a customer in some form or fashion and get them to use for advocacy. That's our goal, right? Is to be able to use their stories. So
I have a different little bit of take of it.
Okay, go.
I was gonna find Kara anyway. So about is it 3 years? Almost 3 years ago now, I introduced Chorus to the company. And I started with about 7 users. We've got about 600 plus and growing at this point. And I said, we've got to do something with all of this data. For the first time, we're seeing a unified view of this data. And what are we going to do with it? This is the question that I have for all the folks where we're so excited about AI this, AI that. But what's the IRL? Like, what are we doing in real life with it? What business problems are we solving? And so I was going to find Car at some point because I was looking for competitive intelligence group, I was looking for the marketing group, product marketing, industry marketing, and of course the reference program. So when I got the connection from someone on the team who Cara had also worked with, It's like, wow, this is just, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Kara is very personable, as you all know. Most of you in the room probably know her, have had a conversation with her, so she is not shy about reaching out and making sure that she gets the job done. So, and it's been a beautiful relationship since.
That's right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, do you want me to ask the next one?
go for
Okay,
it.
so the reference management software system that we use. So I've been in this business for, goodness, 25 plus years. I've used all different ones. So in our particular case, we use RO Upland, but I've used a lot of the different tools out there and have worked with, I'm constantly trying to just be involved with the vendors to see what they're doing that's different. So yeah, that's the one that we use, but we're not, vendor specific to that. So next one. Okay, so how do I store all the feedback from the gong, or so how do you manage all the sentiments and quotes? So for our particular system, we do have a quote library, and I actually pull all the case studies off of our website and pull the quotes from there, and I use it as a way for us to capture the quotes. But for
Yeah, and
Yeah.
from the conversational intelligence piece,
Yep.
we've set up what's called a smart playlist, and this curates calls every 15 minutes or so. It'll go out and troll the hundreds of thousands of calls that we have, and it'll pull in that specific filter of calls so that Kara into 30-second snippets, so that Kara and team could quickly go in during the day, look at their particular playlist, and get a take on what's happening around references. So that's how we do it.
Yep. Okay. Do you plan on to use this pipeline for additional outcomes beyond identifying references?
Yes. Yes, this is a whole other session about how sales actually uses this output, right? Like there are some automations and workflows that can be triggered based on the conversation. So let's take, for an example, one of our top competitors, as you all probably would know. I won't say their name, but we have a competitor that when we hear that word, right, there are some workflows in the background that can set off some triggers, maybe to the manager, maybe to the competitive intelligence team, maybe to Kara as well, just to sort of raise the flag that this has been brought up and we should action it. And in the spirit of championing connectivity between your tools, it then can lead to sending the rep some relevant information just in time, as well as moving stages inside of Salesforce. So, yeah.
I like the next one. Are your customer-facing teams aware that you're leveraging insights from their calls for references?
No, we do this secretly. No, they all know. Everybody.
Not all of them, because they're like, oh, that's interesting. I just spoke to him yesterday. I'm like, I know. I'm watching you.
But overall, they all know when they have when they come onto the team and they onboard onto Chorus and the other sets of tools, that this data is being used at a higher level to kind of help inform decisions, next steps, etc. So everyone is okay with it. Just on this point, it's important that if you don't have a conversational intelligence tool, that when you do roll it out, that you create a environment of safety for the reps, because if not, they won't record their calls. There'll always be a reason why something's broken, or they can't do this or they can't do that. But if you create an environment of learning and coaching, I like to say that we've created an environment where we've risen the tide and we have lifted all ships, right? Like that's the goal: raise the tide, lift all ships. So that would be my input on that one.
How does a reference program differ from just any other advocacy program? So, as I mentioned in the beginning, I am specific to reference program, but I do work collaboratively with the marketing teams to share that information. So let's say I have a customer that is, just spewing out amazing metrics. I'm going to take that information and give it to the marketing person that is doing the videos or is doing the case studies. For me, specifically at Sage, and this is like kind of like a dream come true, and I think we talked about this a couple years ago when I presented at the CMA in San Francisco. You do one thing well, and that's reference calls. You're only focusing on reference calls, and that's what I've had the ability to do here at Sage, and that's what's made the program so much more successful, but working collaboratively with the other departments, because those references are coming in fast and furious. If I need the support of the sales team, I need to be able to deliver. And if I'm doing like, videos and case studies and references, it's much harder to do and you're not being effective. So again, if you have the ability to be as close to sales and under the sales department or in sales enablement, stay out of marketing as much as you can. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that it's a lot easier to build that relationship with sales. So I would say that.
I will take, can I just, one
Yeah,
more?
okay.
Let's talk about the legality of, will sales reach out to a customer? Yeah, the legality. So there isn't any pushback on the recording and the use of the calls. We have gone through all of the GDPR compliance, all of the steps. Trust me, I've personally ushered this thing through all of those things. So every T has been crossed, every I has been dotted, so everyone legally is allowed to use this data. At the sort of raw data level, we have anonymized most of that data. So you can't see the customer, you can't see the rep, and any of those things. That's, again, one of those things we talk about, creating that trust among the reps so that they will record. If they knew that we were, kind of at the executive level, someone's looking in saying, "Hey, you said several times during that call. I think that's why that one went off the rail." That's not what we want. So we curate what the folks above the reps and things see. So this tool is a safe space for the coaches, the managers, and the reps. So.
Well, maybe one more because I think this is a good one.
Yeah,
I like that the number of times sales can reach out.
Yeah.
I think that's always it. People have a lot of questions about burning out your advocates and references. So
yeah,
if you want
for
to take
sure.
that last
Yeah.
one.
So there's a couple different ways. One is the current tool that we have, and I believe most of them have this, but you can put kind of a timeout that you can put in, whether it's every 30 days, every 15 days. Sometimes we have advocates that are like, I'll talk every day for the rest of the month, but we want to be respectful of their time. They're